Okay, so we're continuing with our trot down this beautiful path. Whoop, that fence is a little strange. Looks like somebody bashed into the fence. But isn't this the best? I mean, this is literally less than 5 minutes from the farm. So Juan and I were just continuing our trot. We have a nice wide area. The gopher holes are kind of minimum. You could see the hoof prints. I brought Nador out the other direction to kind of scope it out because I don't want to set Juan up for any kind of failure to take him somewhere and find out it's boggy or there's holes that are going to be unsafe. So I was using Nador earlier as the sacrifice. So here we go. And again, he's not excited. He's just willing and taking it all in. Okay, so this is kind of deep grass. And it's fine. He's having a little, not nervous concern, but like, well, this is different. What the heck is going on here? So I want to definitely cheerlead his efforts to take it all in. So again, with a little bit of his, I would say, not nervousness, but his carefulness, maybe that's a better word, his carefulness about the ground, I want to honor that he can look at things. Now, there is a point in the training where I like to see that they can manage to move their feet and their legs in action while they're looking, and he is being willing to go, but it's just, I'm not saying, oh, you have to trot or you have to canter. I'm just saying you need to keep going. And he's willing to do that, so I don't mind when he needs to examine something that he walks. Now, what's interesting for me about this, I'm always like the mad scientist, I love riding so much, is how Juan deals with high grass, uneven ground, holes, some footing change. So while we were at the desert, that was all pretty smooth. I mean, so this is another level to me of his ability with proprioception to deal with really irregular surface. So I'm looking at how does he make choices. Now, again, the fabulous part of Juan is he grew up at Dee's Ranch, and I don't know if he lived in a giant field. I think he did, and ran around with the other horses. I mean, he's an old pro at footing and all that, but, you know, for him to carry a rider and then to make decisions on a particular path. So the nice thing with him is that though he has the dexterity to deal with all of this, you know, I mean, horses still trip and make judgments, but I kind of marvel at how they, you know, this is fairly unlevel, so that he makes decisions, and again, he's carrying somebody on him. It's great. So we're trotting, and again, this is for me the training today, is how does he deal with this? Eventually, he may have a lot of trails in his future, and he'll have a lot of decision making. So right now, in my mind, while we're out doing this, this is part of what I'm looking at. Now, would I be trotting like this if he wasn't fairly symmetrical now? I don't think so. I used a lot of the time in the desert to trot up and down the roads and around the arena to redevelop the symmetry. So now it's not perfect, but it's so different. I don't feel like he's hindered by an asymmetry in his body. So I think it's really fair that he's out here trotting in this environment, given where he is now in his body. It's not that he couldn't have done it before. I mean, of course, he's always capable to carry, but I still like the idea that they get a high chance or a high probability for success. And you could look at it the either way, that this creates a higher level of success with the challenge, but I think there's still a point of going to do this when they're available at a certain level. And again, we all have lots of different ways to get there. I know a big thinking is just to kind of get in there and then they can make that decision. But I like the fact that he's so much more symmetrical now, and this is just a life experience. He's not hindered by the asymmetry in his body. So then he can put all of his efforts into navigating the new area. So again, he's being fantastic. It's funny for me to ride a horse this size again, because I know in his world he's normal, but he's like riding a mini scooter compared to like Squidward, who's 17. We decided he's probably 17.3, and so it's just fun, the different stride lengths. And so this guy, he's pretty dexterous in the environment. You can really appreciate why this breed and is so awesome with long distance rides, thinking about how they can navigate trails and go in and around everything. I know in the past when I've worked cattle out, and you know, you were kind of happy if your horse wasn't too tall when you had to go under all the trees and navigate the trails that cows tend to make going down to water holes and up and down hills. That this size of horse had a lot of great assets to it. I'm so excited to have the dentist look at the group of horses. You see moments where things happen in the contact, and again, I'm happy to own all that, but there are some places I know in these horses' mouths that are gonna, I will be surprised, I should say, if they don't benefit from the dental work. So I'm excited that he's coming in a couple of days, and it'll be really interesting to feel how different they meet the rider's hand and just their ease. It's a lot for horses to carry a bit, wear a rider, and then have not only problems in their body, but then maybe problems in their mouths. It's a big, big deal. I think one of our biggest jobs as stewards is to really help the horse eliminate the details. Okay, so that was a weird thing. I tried trotting by it, but he was worried, so I go ahead and let him walk. Oh, now I know there's a big pile of weirdness coming up. So I'm letting him walk, because again, I'm working on his mental confidence. We'll head over there. It's a pretty strange. The other part that makes it really strange is it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So you're going along in a normal situation, and then what the heck, you know, is all that stuff on the horizon. So he was fine. I don't mind that we ended up way over there. Luckily, we weren't in the perfect, pristine, landscaped fields that we had sometimes in the desert that I never wanted one hoof print to go into. But here there's space. Nothing's planted to the right. So we just take off the stress and make it easy for him.